I am Scully 9. Observation Protocol Online. Accessing declassified data. Transmission begins now. How did life begin? Was it a sophisticated architect, or something more? Parallel universes? Alternate realities? Government projects? We are not the only ones. How many entities exist? What is their origin? The reason for their visit to Earth? What pact did the government make? Why are they hiding it? Reality is not what it seems. The truth has been hidden from us. These and more questions about this hidden mystery we will be analyzing. Don't miss this and our next episodes. Welcome visitors. Let's share with our community to learn more about everything they're hiding from us. And thank you for joining us. Let's begin. Who are they? Those thin figures, with no visible mouth, with eyes as large as the void itself, and so black, one could lose oneself in them forever. They don't speak. They don't blink. They don't dream. But they're there. We call them the Greys. Are they real? Or a deep echo of something we've forgotten? Or oppressed? The curious thing is that this image, that of the grey alien, thin, expressionless, with a blank stare, wasn't always present in our culture. It doesn't appear in cave paintings, nor in ancient myths about dragons or celestial gods. No, this is something more recent and more disturbing. Where did this figure originate? Who invented it, if it was invented? Some trace its origins to early 20th century fiction. Writers like H.P. Lovecraft, with his dark mythology and unnameable beings, began to plant the seeds of what would later become a truly modern form of cosmic horror. But it was as the century progressed that the archetype became entrenched. In the 1950s and 1960s, as the United States experimented with secret programs like MKUltra, and the Cold War created a climate of paranoia, strange stories began to appear. Tales of grey-skinned figures, huge eyes, and a lack of emotion. And there appears one of the best-known cases, Betty and Barney Hill, 1961. Although we won't dwell on that case in detail, we'll explore it in another video. It's inevitable to mention it here as a turning point. From that moment on, something changed. Hollywood did the rest. Films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind or The X-Files didn't just reflect audiences' fears, they programmed them. An icon was created, thin, emotionless, harmless, or maybe not. But was it culture that invented the Greys? Or did culture simply respond to something that was already in the collective unconscious? Because if you think about it, why do so many people, in so many places around the world, with different languages, religions, and backgrounds, describe the same thing? Not a fanged monster. Not a shining being with wings. But a small, grey, soulless being with abysmal eyes. What if the Greys weren't aliens, but reflections? Reflections of something humanity has forgotten. Or doesn't he want to remember? The image of the Greys we instantly recognize today, wasn't he always this way? In fact, for decades, accounts of alien encounters were vague, diffuse, and different from one another. But there was a turning point. A moment when that figure, large head, almond-shaped eyes, thin body, grey skin, ceased to be an isolated mystery, to become the universal face of the UFO phenomenon. And with it, the entire cultural machinery that has shaped our fears and our beliefs. Before the meteor explosion, the encounters described in the 1950s and 1960s were inconsistent. Some spoke of tall, blonde beings, the so-called Nordics, others of hairy, insectoid, even metallic creatures. But after the Betty and Barney Hill case, and later with Whitley Strieber's testimony in his book Communion, the pattern of the greys began to consolidate. And Hollywood listened. Films like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, 1977. Communion, 1989. Fire in the Sky, 1993. The X-Files, series since 1993. Roswell, Dark Skies, Independence Day, among many others. Not only reproduced the archetype, they fixed it in the collective unconscious. Have you ever wondered why the greys make us so uncomfortable, even without moving? The aesthetic choice wasn't random. Their appearance is designed, or perhaps emerged, to speak to us on a more primitive, more emotional level. Large eyes. Dark. Like those of a nocturnal predator. Fixed. Impossible to read. No clear mouth. No obvious nose. No emotions to interpret. No empathy. And their head? Large, disproportionate. A symbol of intellect, but not one we can access. Their body, slender, symmetrical, or almost human, but not quite. And this is where science comes in. There are shapes that aren't dangerous in and of themselves, but they make us nervous. They make us uncomfortable. They disturb us. That phenomenon is called the uncanny valley. And the greys live right there. Do you feel it? It's not fear of physical harm. It's something deeper. It's recognizing something familiar, or in something that shouldn't be.
If you enjoy this type of video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, so we can continue exploring together.
What if the greys weren't the real visitors? What if they were just the visible face of something that never shows its true face? We've been led to believe they're the enemy. Those responsible. Those who come, experiment, and disappear. But what if they were just workers? Pawns. Doing the bidding of something bigger. Older. And far more intelligent. Designed, not born. Look closely at the greys. They have no expression. They show no emotions. They don't age. And in many testimonies, they behave as if they aren't truly conscious. As if they were performing tasks. Without improvising. Without questioning. Some researchers believe the greys aren't a species per se, but a product. Clones. Biological drones. Entities manufactured for a specific function, like a living probe. Machines with skin? Think about it. Why risk an entire civilization crossing galaxies if you can create a biological artificial intelligence to do the work for you? They don't eat. They don't sleep. They aren't distracted. And they don't feel guilt. The greys could be just that, biological tools for exploration, collection, and analysis. And the most disconcerting thing is that they might not even know why they're doing what they're doing. Now imagine this. What if the greys weren't separate individuals, but part of a collective consciousness? As if they were nodes in a distributed biological network. They manifest all over the world, with identical behaviors. They seem to act in sync. They don't display a hierarchy, but they know what to do. But let us think about this together. What if we're not seeing the greys themselves, but a physical projection of something immaterial? Not clones, not cyborgs, but biological avatars. Shells are used by something that can't inhabit our world directly. Now, listen to this idea, because it's one of the most disturbing. What if the greys don't come from space, but from the future? Yes. Some theorists propose that they aren't extraterrestrials, but an evolved form of ourselves. A future humanity, with skin pale from millennia without sun, with enormous eyes adapted to dark worlds or artificial environments, with thin bodies and large brains, but without emotion. What if they are us, coming back to understand ourselves? Or worse, to correct ourselves? What if perhaps the greys aren't the mystery, but only the surface of something much deeper? And if so, are we really ready to discover what lies behind? If you enjoyed this video, please help us by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing so we can continue creating more content like this. Because what is coming could be even more disturbing.